Sure, I got no help here. Hippie Greg, Shaman Greg, I've been initiated to shamanism. But I'm still an Anglican, Church of England, my friends. I believe in Jesus Christ. I don't believe in fossil fuels. I'm leaving Canada. I'm studying under Ancient Magic of Great Britain. And Libby Shears got a psychotherapy group called Renaissance. I want to get into a traditional British healing system. I'm very disappointed with Canada. Very, very disappointed. The truckers' strike was nothing but a rebellion against the Trudeau. Now, he's neoliberal, still keeping the fossil fuel sector going. Britain, no. They've got Bentleys are electric. The king and queen are gone to electric vehicles. It doesn't mean we're going completely off fossil fuels. You can go to hydrogen, hybrid vehicles. But I'm going to become a loyal British subject and denounce this country. Why? I've had blockages to justice. My family, they can steal your property. I just started to think about this and putting it all together. I've had PTSD from the call in Canada. That guy was from Liverpool. He'd be in jail now if I had a report of him. In Britain, he'd be in jail. Horse abuse. Yeah, British horse abuse. He was a friggin' Nazi. And we got Nazis in Canada. Jordan Peterson's a Nazi. And I'm speaking out against Jordan Peterson and the equality of women and racism. Racism is bad in this country. My girlfriend is from Bangladesh. She's wonderful. She's my fiance. I'm getting married. But I'm not bringing her to Canada with this racism. And the housing market's so crooked. It's so crooked. Doug Ford would not put restraints on the housing market. Vancouver's terrible. Ontario's terrible. All over. So they shift over one to another. I'm back and forth. Britain's housing market's high. But I can get employment in my profession. I'm going to take a job in Nottingham. There's a lot of jobs up there with my qualifications as a Reiki Grandmaster. I'll make £60 an hour, and I'll keep my Canada pension going, but it'll go to British citizen. Probably get a better pension. They won't even give me, they want to put me in a nursing home, Doug Ford, yeah. I don't want to clean up all the time. I go out, I'm lonely, I'm isolated. I had a man in England, I did Reiki on him. He was my age that I am now. He goes lawn bowling, he goes out and meets people. He's not isolated. This friggin' country, isolated. Why? I don't have these values to get rid of the king or the queen. I have a value that we have a holiday for the queen's funeral. No. Doug said no. Gotta keep the economy going. That economy is that problem. This housing market's full of laundered money in the United States and Canada, going back and forth, back and forth. Who's behind it? Wall Street. 2008, they had the stock market crash, right? Well, it wasn't a stock market crash. It was primary lending. Hedge fund. So you elected Donald Trump. I looked there and I said on LinkedIn, you got Trump up again. Yeah. No, it's not bad. It's backed by Wall Street. Wall Street. Oh, the ones you bailed out. So I read this book, The End of Growth. The End of Growth. So they've been speculating, and the housing market's gone up really high here. It's good to own a house. It's good to have a castle, maybe. Irish Wolfhounds. I can make money, but I can't make it in Canada. I'm not paying into a disloyal banana republic. I don't consider that flag part of my country. My father fought in World War I from 1914 to 19, Vimy Ridge. He defended. He was a British loyal subject to the Queen or King. My brother, when he died, he was a loyal. He listened to the Queen message every day. He was a loyalist. They brought up loyalists. Canada was a loyalist country. You know what I hear here? They come in and they get education. They come in from India and they say, down with the British monarchy. You know, they're holding on to a past history of Britain that hurt India. Yeah, I'm not against India. My girlfriend's from Bangladesh. She's a beautiful thing. Man, I like her values. She got divorced because he beat her. She was 21, too, and she's been divorced. She finally got divorced. So what'd she do? She devotes herself looking after her father that's got a stroke. She's a good girl. She devotes herself to me as a husband, a wife. She's got Bengali values, village people. Looks after her mother. They ran over a whole pile of Muslims. So she's Muslim, right? But she says, I love you so much, Greg. I want our religion to be love. What an adaptive, loving woman. She's so pretty. She's 30. I'm 67. Ronnie, is that sick? Is that sick? I don't think so. I'm going to talk about psychology and psychiatry and stuff in North America. The pill solution. Oh, it works on everybody, does it? He says it does. I said it doesn't. So you're in the bar there, and she had a sister, twin sister. And she said, I chose another path. I married a younger man. He's a good husband. Yeah, she's a good looking girl. Why not? And she chose to go to a psychiatrist of this form that I really think came up from South America when Hitler wasn't captured Mingle on them, came up, went to Argentina, went out to the coast, started doing these pharmaceutical racket. I was almost dying on psychiatric drugs. Nick Drake died on psychiatric drugs, yeah. Famous songwriter in Britain. And I did some Reiki to Britain, a therapist, psychotherapist. I see a spiritual connection. I am spiritual. They're avoiding God, they're avoiding everything, psychiatry and psychology. ADHD, PTSD, all these things are illnesses, psychiatric labels. Psychology's gone down that camp. The generic psychology out of Ontario sucks. So does Alberta. We know micronutrients work. We know a lot of things work. The only thing is, death doesn't heal, but we try to cure death. We got a fear-based healthcare system. I do Yashiri Reiki, I do Kundalini Reiki, I do many forms of energy healing, quantum energy. I also teach meditation, mindfulness. Not in Jorgen's camp. Jorgen Peterson's a thinker. He said the climate change doesn't exist, it's a model that's got to be measurable. Well, Jorgen, here's my argument. Can't measure that. You can't measure. How old are you? You're in your 50s. You're a yuppie. I'm a hippie. Counterculture. Different camp. Yeah, you're in a different camp. I was just looking at the camp systems in Ontario here. I can't get home care. I got to go to a psychologist. I'm mentally ill because I believe in spirituality. But I started dividing up these camps. Let's take a look at this. The first camp says that if you're spiritual and not religious, then you're an atheist. That camp, then you're agnostic, that camp, and you're, why can't you just be one camp? Love. John Lennon, what did he write? No religion, no countries, just one world. You believe I'm a dreamer? I'm not the only one. I hope someday you join me. So our religion, my wife and me, my future wife, is love. I'm an Anglican by faith. And I'm also a Shambhala Buddhist. So what camp do I fit into? What camp? What camp? Mindfulness, spirituality, Zen Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism. I can try them all. What camp? Christianity, teachings of Jesus Christ. I remember going to the Anglican church, and it showed Jesus' heart for the heart sutras of India. Rumi, they're all united in one love. There's no camps here. There's no divisions. But this camp of Canada is a broken country relying on fossil fuels. Housing market over speculated. Let the buck fly. Libertarian conservatism. And I hear a lot of camps saying, get rid of the monarchy. My father was a loyalist to Britain. You did really. In 1965, you got the red ensign out of the Canadian flag. A Canadian flag was honored by World War II veterans and World War I. Actually, it was the Union Jack, World War I. Then became that flag. They fought for the king and country. We lost it all. And then they started getting into this oil reserves by corporations. NAFTA agreement, pipelines through BC. Camps. I think they want to get rid of the monarchy because Queen Elizabeth had to change her heart. God, and I feel so sad she passed. But I think King Charles will be a good leader, a good monarch. And I think Britain had a lot of traditional energy, traditional values. The royal family used a lot of homeopathy. It's not that junk, the pill stuff. Problem with the pill system is they deregulate. The United States deregulated, and so did Canada. We don't know what we're getting. The pharmaceutical. So we got CBD in, but the doctors keep saying, "Oh, it's bad for you." No research. There's research. Homeopathy. I'm studying that in Great Britain. No, not homeopathy. I'm studying essential oils. It's research. British research. MR5, MR7, these are security systems. They're from Britain. Drop mud because the table's hexagon. But they got good security. Dad said Britain will always be strong. We got a global economy that's just so screwed up with China, Russia. They're scamming, hooking, telling fake news on social media. And I'm trying to speak gentle so this channel doesn't get cut down. But Canada is not a loyalist country. It's not loyal. It's racist as heck. It's racist. You killed a whole Muslim family. Murdered. What will he get in jail? back in the hand. 5 Muslim people. The only good man, I think, for Canada would be Zing, NDP. But they come out and say NDP's communist, socialist. Your rhetoric of all this is mind hack. A whole generation growing up on social media, listening to poo-poo. Yeah. Do I hate millennials? Some of you are all right. When you get into liberating gay and transgender, that's good. But when you start believing in far-right parties and following the Oompa boy, Jordan Peterson, that's not good. You start believing fossil fuels are the answer, that's not good. You're not thinking right. Jorgen's paid by Exxon. Did you know that? Exxon Valdez. Exxon, yeah. We haven't had a good country since Stephen friggin' Harper. I lived in Ottawa in the 1970s when Pierre Elliott Trudeau unified Canada. It's not perfect. The white paper's still there. There's a lot of work being done. That never happened with energy companies. Jan Arden out there in Alberta is trying to get consciousness of horse slaughter industry. It's a hell of a thing. A lot of people are conscious to it, but justice system doesn't work, and it's years in the process to end horse slaughter. Queen dead. British Horse Society. God, long live King Charles. And may she rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth, for long reign. I'm a loyalist. Governor General is going to be removed if you're Banana Republic. He said to me, I said, you got no services here. You got this sort of a thing, don't give us a hard time. I said, you should be fired. Well, I thought you were a kind man, Greg. I'm getting into this question. He's talking about the trucker strike freedom. Is that freedom? Who's run by? The far right. They're supporting the oil empire. That's what it's written by. Jordan Peterson behind it. Jason Kenney of Alberta. Yeah. So when the RCMP, that's an independent body, came out there in Alberta and they're coming along, they had tons of firearms. So, they flooded the streets of Ottawa, where I was staying college. It was a good community, Ottawa. Justin Trudeau, he's just hanging on to power by an edge. With these right-wing extremists, it's all hate. Canada's screwed. Because it's affected by Ted Cruz coming up from the United States, all of your hedge funding, Ponzi schemes, and criminality. The housing market is so polluted with dirty money, drug money, everything from foreign nationals around the world. Primate lending, I see an old guy there. He's not my type of old guy. He's a criminal going around collecting on the backs of people that have fallen through the 2008 crash. And you bail the buggers out. You bailed them out, man. You printed more money. And what did you do? You fight a war in Afghanistan. Yeah. Just print money. You've been doing this for a long time. Print money. More growth. I think Britain will get into a micromanaged economy again. We can work with Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, other countries that are in the Commonwealth, but you want to get right out of the Kazakhstan system. Commonwealth. I got a tack salesman in selling really nice equestrian tack from India. Tons of it. but I can't find a place to work out of. Bricks and mortar. Who owns bricks and mortar when these guys are inflating the market? Who owns bricks and mortar? I think I'm going up to Ottawa. I'll put in all the things I've gone through and why I'm denouncing citizenship. A long letter. It goes from blocks to justice, blocks to malpractice justice. This is all over the place. No, she introduced me to Libby Shear, a new type of therapy. Do I admit there's mental illness? Oh, hell yeah. The world's friggin' mentally ill. Especially if you listen to Jorgen the Lobster King. Do I have to insult him? I like Santa, don't I? Well, Santa was patron saint. St. Patty, patron saint. He had power. Got the snakes out of Ireland. I got a bit of Irish in me from Ballarat, Australia. And a bit Aboriginal. A lot of British. A little bit of French. History says we go back to Nostradamus. Friend of Nostradamus, the predictor of all this stuff. So, long live the king. So I'm going to go back to Britain, get away from all this untraditional culture. Untraditional. I don't know. I look around and see culture. I don't see it much anymore. It's maybe some Ottawa. I was in Ottawa and I was looking back to French culture, Quebec. Oh, hell. She goes back 16th century. A lot of culture there. The First Nations and American Native Indians, they go beyond the time of Christ. So the Aboriginals, we can't really measure how far the Aboriginal people are. They say 65,000 years. How can you say that? We don't know. How come we don't? I'm reading a book on American Native people and all these cultures. We don't know. And measurements, Jorgen. How can you measure climate change? It keeps on adapting. I'm looking at the adaptation of the climate. And here's what I notice. In Australia, the climate adapts to the climate change. Yeah, the climate change. Plants are starting to grow back in certain parts of the Blue Mountains and up that way. Biologists is in there, but biology is right off the camp with your thing. Climate denier, Jorgen Peterson, paid by Exxon. Joe Biden blocked the thing, but he's downsized. Oh yeah, who else? The Prime Minister of New Zealand's downsized because she's a woman. It's all over this covert, fear-based. Yeah. Now they're attacking Finland's Prime Minister that's a woman. No forgiveness for the Mary Magdalene's, the women that have an indiscretion. Everybody makes mistakes. What's the Buddhist teaching? The weight behind the boat is the weight. It's over. Psychology? You're analyzing spiritual people that had the pain of life. But they surrendered the pain to Spirit or God. I listened to Dr. Todd Gundon, and I listened to you. You do an analyze of Eckhart Tolle. You've analyzed. I want to analyze you. You're a deductive reasoning, analytical doctor. And Young came out with the white paper, the red book. Now he's got I'm going to study that. I love Young. Dr. Carl Gustav Young. So that's psychology. The red book was just brought out. I'm reading it. Now, if you analyze Dr. Carl Gustav Jung's schizophrenia, he noticed these characteristics of schizophrenia. Interesting, isn't it? Schizophrenia, and Eckhart Tolle had that sort of thing too. Who's this voice and the other voice? A schizophrenic behavioralism. Questions. That's all this is, questions. But you're so analytical and you deducted everything with a Freudian school that he was starting to be a psychiatrist. He is an analytical psychology to work on dream therapy, right? But we've expanded our consciousness more. We keep on growing. And I think Carl Gustav Jung was experimenting with consciousness. That this social collective of anger, and now we know there's mirror neurons. Do you exclude that, doctor? A mirror neuron is the energy we feel. They copy the collective consciousness. When I went to Algonquin in 1971, I read their first book. It was an experiment in card shuffle and how the mind affects reality. Split. And they did the Algonquin experiment. It was a good college at one time. Carleton University, my friend got a master's degree in political science. Yeah, but he quit and became a musician. Why? Because there's no political science in Canada. None whatsoever. There is, really. There's one. The oil companies. And look at Emerald. Look at Enbridge. I'm going to speak about Enbridge. Oh, you've got housing programs, everything. I noticed this. So you buy our product. We're attached to systems. Ontario Hydro, why did it go down? It wouldn't follow a model of, and I talked to hydro workers, you're right. It's a private organization. And it wouldn't follow a model of multi-gridding the system. No. Farmers, you might as well forget that. You've got a commodity system. You're always bailing farmers out. Well, I'm not mad at farmers. I'm mad at the commodity boards that went against farming and into an industrialized system. Now, what I see in India is they got into natural agriculture. I think Bangladesh was a woman really changed a lot of things for young women. My wife to be is coming over to England with a passport. I am single, but you're divorced, aren't you, dear? Yes, look at the mark he did on me. I know I won't do that to you. I won't hurt you. And I love her. I love her, and she loves me. We love each other so much. I can feel her right near me because of this consciousness of two people, twin flame. I never knew she was from Bangladeshi. She's beautiful. She feels so insecure about white women. I was black at one time. My grandfather was Aboriginal Australian. What did Australia do? I'm going to get two citizenships. I'm going to be British, Pommy, and we got to heal this in Australia, my friends. We are part of the Commonwealth, but we have got unity and to be autonomous with our Indigenous people. The Aboriginals of Australian descent. David Bowie wrote a lot of music with the Aboriginals in it. It was nice. And yeah, he was gay. No, he's bisexual, I think he was. David Bowie's influenced My China Girl, those great songs. British. There's a lot of great music that came out of Britain. So I've been studying off of a man in England that's teaching me acoustic festival style. What was his name? And there was another one, I can't remember. I was studying his stuff. He's British. A lot of guitar players from Britain. Eric Clapton started taking the Americana style of rock and roll and blues. And he went right back to Robert Johnson and George Harrison. They were dear friends, George and Eric Clapton. But there's a lot of zealotry in music. Like Les Paul was an incredible musician. He was melodic. I'm being into music, but music's good in Britain. The Fairport Convention, great band. They're still going. The older people playing great British folk rock. Yeah, it's new stuff. I play a telly, Fender Telecaster. I like them. What I like about the Telecaster is it's got a lot of twang, but it's just a workman's guitar. I have no use for a culture that says they come over here from India. I've never had a racist thing about India, but these ones want to get rid of the monarchy. I'm hearing this. All these immigrants are coming in. We want rid of British Empire imperialism. Well, what happened in Britain? You haven't forgiven the past. The past is over. It's the weight behind the boat. Things changed, didn't they? Mahatma Gandhi changed a lot of things for you, but you went against Mahatma Gandhi. And we adapted some of Mahatma Gandhi's values. Rumi, great teacher. Yogi Bhajan, great teacher. Safik Guru, no, don't really like him, right? I hear I have a motorcycle, not real famous. He'd be a guru and have a fake beard. I'm not going to put him down, but he goes against the Reiki system. There's one in Scotland there. She's Bloody Mary, Queen of Scots. She's gone Christian. You can be Christian and practice Reiki, ma'am. You can be Christian. You're not denouncing Jesus Christ, but you're denouncing. You got into what I call fundamentalism, an ideology again. Dorian Virtue's gone into an ideology. Forgive her, but she's gone into an ideology. I knew something was up. I read their oracle cards. I couldn't split the decks; they were sticking together. Yeah, Dorian Virtue's cards. I couldn't use them. So yeah, I use angelic cards. I work with she's a British singer songwriter. I forget her name, but she's working with a friend of mine in England who's the head of Ancient Magic. Now that's a Christian fundamentalism of the archangel realm. I get messages from angels for Watchtower angels. I like Melanie Barkenbecker. I like Teal Swan. Really energy healing. I don't like people analyzing these people. They're wonderfully young women that are changing consciousness in a shifting pattern. But God save the king. I have a traditional value of Canada, but you don't. A traditional value of the British monarchy is being our figurehead. Why do I honor feudalism? Why do I honor feudalism? Simply this. The crown is the unity of God and earth. The Aboriginals of Australia would not allow the men to go in and learn Aboriginal healing. There's the sisterhood. They danced all night long. They had long black dresses on, black skirts. And the native elders, she had them dance, 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 dance. They're topless, bare-breasted. They danced around the fire. And then they sat, and the earth energy came up through the chakras. And the sun comes up. Uberuma. Beautiful. Sisterhood, they call them the Sheilas. Women empowerment. I'm studying women empowerment from, we don't want Jordan Peterson there. You know, I was just thinking, first thing you said, Jorgen, you said about the banking, it's about the banking system. That's how they got empowerment, women in Iceland, in Greenland. Iceland, yeah. Banking system shut down, right? Yeah. They were engineers. They got equality. But you're going into a biological structure here. The women have no capability of doing it. Oh, she's an Australian. She's a millionaire. She's 30 years old, like my girlfriend. And she's talking about BlackRock. BlackRock, a corporation that's controlling the whole economic guck on oil. This is Saudi Arabia. I was figuring this out. He comes to me, he says, I want to work in Canada. Why? Oh, I'm a mechanical engineer. You want to pump oil? No, you got water and resources. No, just got oil. See, a doctor of Ayurvedic medicine from India or any country comes in here, got to go back to school and get our big pharma way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've seen them. They come in, they slave away, go back to school. A nurse comes into Canada from Philippines. She's got to go start all over again. Learn the big pharma boy. It's ridiculous. Access to Canada is easy, but I don't know if you want to stay here, my friends. I don't really think you do. Britain's got problems. Everybody's got problems. But what's workable? Countries that talk don't shut down and say we don't talk politics. We don't have taboos in Britain. We have one taboo. There's a lot of taboos. England, Australia, don't talk sports. Don't talk sports. They don't talk sport in pubs. So I've seen them do that, and almost a bar fight breaks out. You go up there and say, go Leafs, go. In a strong Ottawa Senators bar, you're going to get a beer ball in the head. But here, don't talk politics. It's rude. What we got in Canada is the Canadian apathy to not make change. Seniors are going down in Ontario because Doug won't put any money into seniors programs. There's no logic in not providing funds for me to get a homemaker. Living by a bunch of noise is not good for my health. The doctor says you need pills. Your blood pressure is high, right? There's a solution. I had high blood pressure before I was married to a wrong woman. I got divorced. The doctor, my blood pressure came down. Why was that? Didn't have her anymore. It was hard. It was hard. I love that woman. But you can't be a woman that buys into the pharmaceutical racket all the time. Who just wants a pill and it doesn't fix anything. She just goes to a specialist, wants a pill. Well, I'll just take a pill. Yeah. You know what I don't like about pills? Their reliance of not getting well. And they tell you won't get well. You just got to stay on the pills. Well, that's not good. It's not good healthcare system. It's fear-based. I'm sitting in a bar there. He's going to get up and do a set, young singer-songwriter. He says, that's the way we are musicians. We just sync. How do you know that? How do you know that? We know our songs we're going to play. Let's do a gig. Why did I play that? Because I was thinking, neurons. We're more connected. Anyways, he says, well, I'm thinking, what do you think of this healthcare system is? Ooh. You mean the fear-based system? Yeah. Like I tell a patient they're going to die, you'll die. Because you create that energy of dying. I tell you, we'll get you well. Oh, give you hope. Oh, I can't guarantee. It's up to you. But you got to die. Well, my doctor told me that I'm going to be in a wheelchair if I don't take these heavy drugs. I said, get the drugs from Calgary. They did a study. Now, fired. I called up the Ontario healthcare system. It's over flooded with stupid people. I said, I don't want that doctor. I don't believe in drugs. Hung up. So what do I do now? They just hang up. Thank you. Bang. You know, they're conformed into the big pharma racket. And I'm learning now that essential oils work, all these things, and energy healing works. My problem is the noise here. And I have to leave. It's too loud. And I got a bill here for $1,000 for my Wi-Fi, cell phone, and everything. So he's working in the mental health system. I work with you because you got mental illness. Oh, have I? Well, you talk about spiritually. And I said, you know what I think? He says, no, what? I think you should be fired. Oh, that's awful cruel. Is it? You never here to help me. I depend on you to get me some glasses, go up I'll do it myself. You make a promise, I'll go get on a bus and get here. But you promise me and you let me down. You keep on doing this. I'd fire you. Well, I'm working in helping other people. Well, you can't help me. I don't want you. I had a guy there. He says he was going. We were late to a meeting. I was taking Red Cross. And I was really late. We were really late. He was picking up too many people. I'll get this and I'll get that in. We were late getting there because he got pulled over by the police to give him a ticket. He was speeding. Get up to what I was going for was my BC because of drugs. Yeah, big pharma racket. And I was so turned off by psychiatry and psychology. But I started studying psychology, and that model. It's British. And I'm going to go back there. I'll study under Livy Shear. I like this therapy. I combine it with Reiki. I combine it. But there's McGill's university student denouncing Reiki. All these skeptics. He's just a student. So I get on there, I do Reiki, and he says, sure, student. You're a cupcake. You don't know everything. You don't know nothing. I do animal location. I find animals. I'm learning off a British psych animal communicator. Crazy. I think Britain's more open than Canada. Because he came out and he said, if a dog vet says she's going to do acupuncture on your dog, run for the hills and ain't effing science. Is that journalism? I agree with some of the things he said, like gluten is a bunch of nonsense. Well, you make your own bread, it's fine. Problem with store-bought bread, they had too much gluten in it. it was just binded with gluten, and they just added more and more and more and more. So where did I read that? I read it on Instapaper, the long read. It was one hell of a long read, but I give you a synopsis of it. The synopsis is simple. Too much gluten binding in the wheat, and it's all lies about gluten-free. Gluten-free is celiac disease, 5%. The binder was too much. There was too much gluten because it's store-bought bread. He was right. Homemade bread you can make. Buy a homemade bread maker and get whole grain wheat. It tastes good, bread. But the Canadian Diuretic Association, separate from the Medical Association, they're all in camps. There's no unity anymore. And this is what I'm saying. It's all ideologies and stupid things. Jordan Peterson's in a psychology camp. He's not in he's measuring things by analytical deductionism about climate science and attacking Greta Thunberg. He's going against activism. He's just like Mike Harris. Can't speak out about anything. Climate change discussion. So I'm out in Salt Spring Island. And I'm with the Green Party out there. He's a Green Party member. And it's Granite Scoff Islands. And there's a Finland Cuppy there. Family discussing this. My girlfriend and I, my fiance and I can discuss things. And she's Muslim, but I'm Christian. I'm spiritual. And she's open to just say, why don't we call it love? We are the union of two people. And her mother's giving her blessings that I marry her, but in a civil law, because she doesn't want to conform to a religion. I love her for that, and I love her mother for coming halfway on this. I'm going to marry her. I'm so in love with her. I think about her all night long. I'm dreaming about her. When she contacts me, she says, I haven't slept. Us dopamine levels are raising. We're in love with each other. I've never loved a woman like that. I was giving up on love. But her values are my values. You look after your husband. Your husband looks after you. You love him. And I love her. I think about her needs. Her physical, emotional, her sexual needs that aren't mine. And she has them. She's got a lot of sexual needs. She's been without a husband for a while. But she's beautiful. That's love. Think of the beloved and love them more than you think of yourself. And the grace of what he discovered when he was taking those slaves in, amazing grace was this. To graceful surrender. Surrender to love and kindness. Don't come up with ideologies, hatred. I look at people that hate as a sickness, a pain. Because they see division and they see fear and anger and judgment. Every time something's a little different, and it's against maybe what you thought was your values, examine it, write it down. Ask for guidance from your higher sense. Don't ask some ideology. I had to use Kruna Reiki to break through transgender gay rights. I was brainwashed by my parents that this is wrong. I'm not gay, I know who I am, but I'm not attached to the idea that gay transgender people have a right to be free. And I look at that whole thing and I say, why am I upset about it? It's conditioning of my family. Just the time they came from. So I started studying under Libby Shears and this type of psychology that's holding us back, not moving ahead in our life, is the conditioned mind of what our parents taught. Not to hate thy parents. So the simple principle of life is this: attach to nothing, but accept everything. So as things change and culture changes, explore. But don't get attached to it. Like I explore things and I've let them go. I look at everything as a tool. I do Yashuri Ryo Reiki. I went beyond it. I went to Kundalini. I went to Krunaki. I'm certified master. I went to crystal energy. I went to aromatherapy. I went to meditation coach. I'm still learning. So I got to get in touch with the federal government. I'm going to be cut off my phone. I'm calling them. I got to get things going today to get a place up in Ottawa where I can get some home care. I'm a musician and a composer. I haven't got time to do that. I've been spending too much money going to bars because I feel so lonely. Teal Swan talks about that. I like meeting people, but I can't afford the bars. They're too expensive. It's cheaper in Ottawa, and I'll get legal actions going. Get my money back. I got these forms. I'm picking them up today. I'm getting through all this. And I'm going to call through. And I got a lot of money coming in rebates, but I didn't get them in the bank. But I found some papers to get this all cleaned up. See, I haven't been organized because I've been so alone. But I keep thinking British citizenship will be better. And then I can have two citizenships. Because I honor Australia and I honor Britain. Like, I didn't agree with my uncle. He used to say the pommy bastards. My father was British. He was a good British husband for my wife, my mother. And she learned to love Britain. She was in Britain. And they had the same value. They loved Jewish people. Yeah, they did. They didn't have a hatred from Jews. He bartered and taught me a lot about money and value and making an honest living. He worked at a lot of jobs. And he was British loyalist in a way. Never gave up that. It was just Victoria. But that's the weight behind the boat. It's gone in Britain. Britain is Queen Elizabeth was a good monarch. She had problems. But there was an earth angel, Lady Diana. They broke up, Prince Charles and Lady Diana. But she gave the charity and she gave the heart. And if you ever seen the movie about Queen Elizabeth, she had a change of heart. You know, they said, oh, she's a commoner. We're not going to have a funeral for her. You know how much she changed Britain? England's Rose, Elton John, sung Goodbye, England's Rose. You're just a candle in the same funeral. And last night, my heart was moved when I saw a man that looked like my father with a beret on, and the cars going by. And he gets out there, and it's the Queen's coffin in the car. Soldier. God bless Britain. Good. Farewell, Queen Elizabeth II. King Charles has got quite a challenge. And United Kingdom can work with the world, New Zealand, Australia, the Commonwealth countries. We're going to keep this world better. And we're verged with this new awakening. that's being restricted by the old order of psychiatry and psychology of the West. And it'll be this new order of a new type of psychology to help people through things. We've got too much technology. We need to learn to minimalize, get a little analytical sometimes, use a phone, use a pen. My friend in Australia, Holly Smith, is getting very good at this. She was a fitness coach and she went on to TV and video, and she's my dear friend. Nina Fitzgerald took over Chris Irwin's foundation. I'll work with her from Britain. I need to work from Britain to Australia. And they want me to work in business and leadership to build our economy. But not this stuff. Not this denunciation of the Queen. God bless Queen Elizabeth. Long live the King. And we are unity. Canada could be a part of the British Commonwealth and remain and do trade with Europe. But you're fighting a war over freedom. Freedom convoy. Freedom of oil. And this rush. And I'm leaving. And, free speech is one thing. A journalist came out there. These girls are all mind hacked. Real estate ownership is good. That guy was having sex with women. He's a fat bastard. And he was having sex with women. And she went in and I don't like this. She's a British woman, and she went in there as a blonde, and he says, "You'll do these sexual acts, and then you can live here." That's rotten. We have to help each other. And I have a problem with with the music systems. I think we need to go back a little bit to an analog foundation and produce more vinyl and maybe tape. Britain's coming up with that. I'm not happy with Canada, and I'm saying goodbye, because you want to be Banana Republic. This friggin' area is a Banana Republic. A bunch of millennials don't believe in dollar value of work and employment. And Queen Elizabeth is was the Queen of England, and King Charles. Things have changed, but the psychiatric model holds people back. So I'm in a day of mourning at the Queen's funeral, and I say, honor the Queen, and long live the King Charles. And the unity of New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, we're all unified. Love you, people.